I just bought the dip on Virgin Galactic, and in this video I'm going to explain exactly why. Let's do it. In 2004, Richard Branson founded Virgin Galactic with the aim to provide suborbital space flights to tourists. Virgin Galactic's mission is to open space for everyone. On July 11th, 2021, Richard Branson became one of only 536 people to travel to space. In his own words, Branson is looking to create for the first time a basic space access infrastructure that will act as an enabler for scientists and entrepreneurs. It will also provide the catalyst for a new age of space exploration which promises enormous positive potential for life on Earth. I genuinely believe that space will be one of the biggest industries over the next few decades. I think it is going to be as big as the internet. I think that it's going to be as big as the Industrial Revolution. There is a massive opportunity in the next few decades to make a lot of cash out of this sector. It just comes down to how long is it going to take. All this being said, since July the 11th, the stock has crashed by nearly 80%. In January, it was announced that shares were being diluted in order to raise $500 million worth of capital. This business needs a lot of cash. Diluting, for anyone that doesn't know, is bad. It means that the business needs to raise some cash, raise some capital, and in order to do that, they're going to sell some additional shares. Now, that means if you already hold the stock, it means the shares that you own are going to be worth less. They're going to get diluted as there's more in circulation, and that basically means that you're going to own less of a percentage of the company. So generally, dilution is not seen as a good thing for investors. When this was announced, the stock declined by 19% on that day alone. So a lot of people are really worried that the business is burning through cash at a completely unsustainable rate, especially given the delays to actually launching a commercial spaceflight service. The next test flights are even not due to take place until the end of this year, 2022. So obviously, investors are getting twitchy, they're getting nervous. And who could blame them? Despite all of this, I am buying more shares today, and here's why. Before I explain that, I just want to put a warning out there. I am aware that this business could go to zero. There is a likelihood, higher than any other position I hold within my portfolio, that this business could go to zero and I will lose everything. Therefore, the way I'm investing into this business is for the extremely long term, and I am only investing money that I can completely afford to lose. This is part of the proportion of my investing allocation that is for my speculative investment. If you're investing into a business like this, you need to be aware of the risks. You need to understand that it could go to absolute zero and you'll lose everything. So what I'm saying is only invest into this business what you are comfortable to lose, which is exactly what I've done. So here's why I'm continuing to drip into it. First off, when a business dilutes shares, they have to tell you why they're doing it. And in the press release for this dilution, it says that management is bullish on how quickly demand can scale. They want to build a spacecraft that can meet demand. In other words, the debt raise is about building supply, about building more aircraft, and doing so a lot quicker than previously thought. This cash has not been raised to buy some office supplies. This cash has been raised to build some spacecraft. The business is investing into future growth with this capital raise. I genuinely believe that once they get this next round of tests done and they start to commercialize spaceflight, it could really take off. And what people within this business are doing is trying to enable that. There continues to be risk. We've gone over it, but that's what they're trying to do. And for me, yes, I am emotionally tied to this. I'm romantically tied to this. I've been invested for a few years and I'm very much in love with the idea of spaceflight, but I'm invested with my head on this one. And I think in years to come, it could be part of the biggest proportion within my portfolio that has seen the biggest gain. Secondly, the stock has been absolutely smashed to pieces because of the above news and also because of the general sell-off within growth stocks over the last few months. This is a former SPAC, so naturally it has been hit harder than most. But as soon as that test flight goes up into the air at the end of this year, I'm almost certain, not financial advice, that the stock price will skyrocket. Price of this stock has been very much linked to hype. When there's high hype around it, when there's test flights going left, right, and center, it goes up. When there's delays, when there is share dilution, it goes down. It doesn't just go down a bit, it doesn't just go up a bit, it goes up a lot, it goes down a lot. So once we've got an announcement around that test flight at the end of this year, that means that potentially we could be looking at commercializing this by Q1 next year. As soon as that means that we're going to start seeing some serious cash flow coming in. And I want to be invested when that happens. Now, I've said that I'm invested for decades, and that's my approach. I'm not going to sell this stock unless there's something fundamentally that scares the bejesus out of me. But at the moment, I'm going to be holding it for the long term. So I'm going to be dripping over the course of this year because I do think come the end of this year, the share price is going to go up. Now, what I do believe between now and then is that there's a potential for this stock to go as low as $3. I'm thinking it's going to go as low as $3. I'm dripping into it today when it's at $8, and I'm going to continue to drip in all the way down. When it was right at the top, I didn't put another single pound, dime, dollar, whatever you want to call it, into this business because it was at that point very highly overpriced. Now it is so low, I'm going to start dripping it into again, but conservatively, because it is my speculative play. It's only cash I'm prepared to lose. Now, the next reason that I think it's going to be a big winner over the course of the next few years is the different ways in which you can drive revenue. This is not just about commercial spaceflight. That's just a small proportion of it. There aren't that many people around the world that can afford to drop 450K onto a glamorized roller coaster. What we've also got the potential for this technology to unleash is global supersonic travel, the Concorde of the future, perhaps. But imagine getting around the world within an hour. That's going to have some value. There is funded scientific and research projects. There's not many people that can send a spaceship into space. There's only a handful of businesses. They're going to be in demand in the coming years as more and more research is required by independent governments, private companies, all sorts. Also, the future potential to mine space. It's a bit further out, no question about that, and it's a little bit trickier, no question about that. It could come to nothing, but the potential to be able to mine valuable materials, precious materials from around the solar system. There is trillions of dollars of value to be had up there. And the last one in this section is merch and branding, marketing. This is a cool brand. So as we start seeing a little bit of success here, I think that it's going to be just like NASA, you know, the way you see NASA t-shirts everywhere. I think that there could be a really good branding opportunity to drive some revenue as well. Again, that one's a bit further out there, but it's just an example of a few different ways this business can generate some cash flow over the coming years. But the elephant in the room with this one is sustainability, and I want to call that one out. And I am somewhat qualified to comment on this, given that I work within sustainability. So people are saying that how can it possibly be part of the future, given the amount of CO2 that is emitted as a result of these space flights? There is no question that there is an enormous amount of CO2 released during these space flights, more so than any other form of travel you could ever imagine, a significant amount. However, it comes back to the point that I always talk about. You've got to speculate to accumulate. Now, a big part of this is pushing the world forward. A big part of this is research and development. A big part of this is actually creating a more sustainable planet in which we live in. Branson's vision is not just around commercializing this, it's around changing the world for the better. There are a number of different avenues, which I'm not going to go into here, around how this technology will enable us to be reducing the impact of climate change, not contributing to it. So I do understand people's concerns around this. I could do a separate video just on this alone, which I'm not going to go into now, but I genuinely believe, as someone who works in sustainability, that this is going to push things forwards, not back. So what I can expect over the course of this year is this share price to continue to decline. I'm going to drip into it all the way down. Could even get lower. I mean, I don't know. What the hell do I know? Could get lower than $3. Could go to $1. But I'm going to drip all the way down unless something scares me. At the end of this year, I think it's going to go up. But I'm invested into this business for decades, and I think it has got great potential in the future. Do not invest into this business without doing your own research. You are very likely to lose some cash. Now, my friends, for some level-headed advice on what to do during a correction, just watch this.